Before the video starts, I want to say that since this is our first interview, we did mess up the audio. And you can't hear what I'm saying, but you can hear what Agamatsu's saying. So, like, it sounds like he's talking to himself, but we're asking him questions. I'll put a big text on the screen that shows what question I asked him, and you can hear his response to it.
Shoot, it's gonna be a lot of money, a lot of fans, and it's also been a great pastime. So a lot of good things came from it. Nothing really bad so far. So yeah, I guess you could say though, in a way, it kind of resulted in me technically not going to college because I was able to support myself with a ton of money. Probably Kaido. Lots of flinging. A lot of people complain about him. I think Prima Don's fine for the most part. A lot of people will say for those other bosses that they just probably need more moves, if anything. But an entire rework would probably be Kaido because he's like the only like real water boss, and I think they just need to pretty much rethink or revisualize how his boss fight would work entirely because right now it's just not it. That's at least my idea. Hmm? You said mob. Okay, for boss, I'll say Kaido. Even King Gigamed, um, he literally has no animations. But for a rework, I don't think he needs a rework. He just needs animations. Do you understand what I mean? Kaido needs a rework, but I think Jellyfish, yeah, yeah. Right now, I still think I enjoyed Rogue Prime more. Deep Prime for me was testing though, and I think testing was better than Rogue Prime because it had like the same like small like community. It gave like vibes similar to Rogue in its prime because you know all the houses you're ganking and stuff like that. Same thing in testing, right? Because it was like a couple hundred people, but it was small, right? But I think in terms of public deep, I don't think it's hit its prime yet. In my opinion, I think debugging is still like it's damn near like infancy, going into like toddler stages, pretty much. Um, oh yeah, of course, dude. Best legendary weapon right now, huh? Oh, that's tough. Probably Crypt Blade. Lots of pressure with Crypt at the moment. Shadow's also the best attunement, and because Crypt Blade works so well with the Shadow Mantras, I feel like you can put a lot of really good pressure and guard break your opponent a lot if you know what you're doing. And yeah, Crypt Blade does have its crit. Mhm. Yeah, it slams into the ground and does like a little, like an AOE. If it hits, does like a little chain. If they try and escape from the chain, it pulls them back in. But if you hit them with the chain on, it like drains their ether and does a little bit of extra damage. So, worst oath, worst. Right now, Fate Trimmer. It just doesn't have really anything too unique, and it doesn't stand out anyway. The matches are not that great, and if you really wanted to go for like whatever Fate Trimmer has, there's just a better oath for it, if that makes sense. Um, a better game, huh? I think honestly, Deep Oaken was supposed to be kind of built around its difficulty. In my opinion, I'd say right now it's really technically not difficult to be honest, but if you were to go back in time and have like talk to everyone who played the game like after the first week, I'd say for sure because it definitely gave way to that experience of being like a hardcore world, and people love that sort of immersion because you don't really see a lot of that on Roblox. So I'd say so. Uh, they're kind of starting to like get rid of the meta at the moment. They just fixed like obfuscation, and they're probably gonna still do a couple of things to the enchants as a whole, or like oaths, maybe some mantras in particular in certain builds. But yeah, for a while it's pretty stale, very stale. But I always think it's a good thing to switch it up, regardless. So yeah, of course. I mean, what was it? No, they should stop. Like, yeah, of course it should have some more. It's probably gonna have like a bunch of endgame content that people are going to enjoy. Hopefully, the game gets up to 100K players one day. I'm hoping. I mean, I think as long as they always add something new or unique to try and do, I think they'll be fine. I mean, think about a game like World of Warcraft. I know it's a much different game, but like the game's been going on for more than a decade by far, right? And how did they find a way for that long to keep adding content, right? I think there's always a way as long as you know what I'm saying, keep attempting and keep trying within the game's framework. Sure. Yeah. Why not?
Any suggestions?
Oh, any suggestions? Maybe my, like more plate armors a little bit. I think a lot of people some girls, for example, ask for like female like based armors because I don't think there's a lot of those to be honest. So that'd be nice. Um, Maybe like a lot more like raggedy clothes. You know what I'm saying? Like things that like look broken up, so it feels like you've been in a battle type shit. Um, what else for cosmetics? Maybe well, these are more like mechanically different, but like unique effects, and maybe like you have like a ring, like a very like a unique or legendary ring that has like a little sparkle on it. Maybe some unique cosmetic, maybe artifacts that give you like a unique cosmetic. Like I don't know. I don't really have an idea. Like if you put on a ring, like a little like eyeballs like floating around your head or floating next to you, some you know what I mean, stuff like that.
Which enchant do you think is the most need of a rework slash changes?
Uh, Reworks slash changes, huh? Ooh, I probably have to like go through a list. Probably Seer. I think Seer. Oh, well, Seer doesn't even really need a rework. I think it just needs a visual indicator. Maybe Unbidden. It's hard to say what I want to see. Maybe Wild. No, those are. I feel like those don't really need buffs, but I feel like Unbidden. Hmm? Yeah, actually, Wild is actually not as bad as it once was. I forgot they buffed it. Maybe Unbidden. I'm pretty sure Unbidden was supposed to get a rework, or I suggest them that got like they gave the okay to where like when you counter, it shoots like Gilgamesh like swords out the little portals. That hasn't been done yet, so I'm expecting that soon. Yeah. Story, huh? I think it's fine for now. I think they should definitely have more lore though in like what's it called in the gameplay itself that you can find because a lot of it's in the Discord, which I don't think is great. But besides that, the story stuff I think is all right. Carlia, she's the classic dude. Come on, realistically, yeah, but Alita, she like if you like for whatever reason make any sort of mistake, she'll like turn your head into like a fucking mushroom or like teleport you on top of the house and you have to find your way down. Carlia, she's like loyal, you know what I'm saying? Like she won't leave your side. Definitely a keeper, you know what I'm saying? No, not though. I think I did it like the first time like a month ago. Like after like what 3 or 2 years of playing, I forgot how long. Because I never won charisma, bro. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Around when do you think Halo titles dropping? Like later today or what?
They said it'd be later today.
Okay, good.
Yeah, at the moment it's gotten a little bit stale to a majority of the players because when you first join, it's like, yo, but like we're so used to like the exact min max method to like one tap any monster or boss in the game that I feel like we kind of need some things to switch up and throw us a little bit of a curveball. Like a monster, for example, that doesn't die based off damage, but based on the number of times you've hit it. You know what I mean? So that way, like, even if you have like, very powerful heavy weapons or even something like a very good mantra, right, that does a lot of damage, like Arc Beam, right? It doesn't matter because you need to break its exoskeleton first by hitting it 10 times and then you can deal damage after. You know what I'm saying? Like small stuff like that. That switches it up. No, not really. If this was like uh legendary, I mean, I can understand that the grind kind of sucks, but for the most part, I feel like besides legendary bells and trying to get like specific corrupted bells, like pretty much all game RNG is pretty much gone, dude. Like this is not verse one, this is not start of the game. You can get your exact build you want every single time. It just takes a little bit of time. RNG was really bad when you couldn't do anything about it. Now that's what sucked because you had terrible RNG and you couldn't do anything about it, so you had to restart. Yep. Oh, for guild base. I mean, the point of guild base is to be like a collaborative effort among an entire guild. Guilds can be as big as you want, right? So like I think you have to keep that in mind. And I know some people are like, well, what about my guild with like 4 or 5 players? Like, you know what I'm saying? But like, in my opinion, I don't know. I feel as if like I don't know if that's a reason to make guild bases cheaper because if you have like yeah, you know what I mean. The point of a guild is supposed to be like a giant. You know what I'm saying, right? Most games have like really big ass guilds, so I think that's what they're trying to aim for there. Making it like a big long term effort instead of something you can just complete in a week. You know what I mean? All right. Um. Yeah, I was wondering about that. I was like thinking like, what if you just? It just depends on how they'd be able to do it, right? Or because you could really cheese it. You could just have like a bunch of people putting in notes and then like kick everybody else out, have one member, and then get everything. You know what I'm saying for like dirt cheap. So, mm, uh, um, Conquest, World Events, Void Tower, and hopefully, I pray, like a new Luminant, like a Southern Luminant or Void Sea expedition. But there's no confirmation about that. But I think they'll eventually like realize like it's worth. And then if they ever do like get the squad really going, Central Luminant one day. Any comments? Things are a little bit stale at the moment, but to be honest, the player count's still increasing. At the moment, right? We got a big Holotide update today. Hopefully, we hit 20K players tomorrow because Holotide plus Battle Royale plus the weekly, because they still dropping some new stuff for the weekly. Hopefully, should be a very fat, big weekend. And then after that, they're going really hard on Conquest too. Hopefully, Conquest. I'm telling you, I'm a believer that it will be hopefully November, maybe the end of it. If not, you can always they always deliver in December, no matter what. They never skip a December drop. Always one big drop a year. So yeah, probably it'll have its similarities, but I don't think they want Conquest to be the exact same. It'll have similarities, but I think they're gonna go for a more like a MOBA route. You know what I mean, right? Or like yeah. So like you can't. It's not just gonna be everyone going to point boxing, right? Like there might be like some different things you can do just to make it a little bit more interesting. Because I know like fighting will always work, right? And they can always do that, but like I mean, I do think that having like a little bit of that extra sauce, extra pizzazz in there will hopefully increase its longevity. I'll be when I was ganking, and I made a video on it on Primadon, and I had like my giant shadow gun build. That was great. Um, like very very OD broken giant shadow gun build. I think another one maybe was like the first time I ever fought the enforcer in testing with another tester. That was pretty memorable. I was very afraid. When hell mode first dropped, that was pretty amazing. It was like it was like exciting, right? Doing layer 2 for the first time, the Lightborn tournament, both the first and second one, the Freshie trials. There's a good amount. Again,
I once again really want to apologize for like how the video's outdated. First off, because I've just been holding it back for so long because I just didn't really feel like editing it. And also, just want to say sorry for the fact that you couldn't hear me talking in the interview. But on future interviews, we did get proper recordings, and you can actually hear us talk instead of just like Agamatsu talking to himself and then my friend talking every once in a while. But the key exploits videos will be updated sometime. It's a 40-minute long interview, so I'll do it when I get to it. Thank you.